All right, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right, great. Well, I'm happy you guys all came down tonight. My business is called Brightly Well, Positively Inspired Wellness, and a little bit about what I do is a lot of health and nutrition, but it's all going to be focused on the right mindset, your healing mindset, a positive mindset, and how when you focus on that, it makes your goals a lot easier to achieve. And it deletes a lot of that stress, the uncertainty, and a lot of the frustration people are feeling when they're trying to improve their life and their health. So we're going to melt away stress with breath tonight. So when we're talking about breath, we know it's obvious that we have to breathe. And this is one of the few functions of our body that we have control over, at least when we put our mind to it. And when we take a slow breath, it's a reminder to take a moment of silent observation. You're just feeling the air come in, you're feeling the air go out. And this is a moment to check in with yourself. Are you stressed out? Are you needing a moment away from what you're doing to regroup? A lot of what we talk about in mindfulness, in health, and in breath work has to do with switching from an excited nervous system, this fight or flight system that we have, to a calming rest and digest and heal nervous system. So it's almost like you're cranking on the hot water or the cold water. And so many people are cranking on the hot water that they're just burning out by the end of the day. So the ability for us to take control of our breath is one thing that we can do in any moment to help change that nervous system. And when we get that cool water running in the nervous system, our digestion improves, our heart rate goes down, our blood pressure can come down, and it can even affect things like our blood sugar. It allows our blood to flow more to our extremities and back into our organs where we need a lot of that nourishment and blood flow. So we're going to go over some things that you can do to help use your breath to relieve some stress. These are just 4 of many different things you can do. The first one is pacing your breath, grounding yourself. That's part of this sort of observation. You can allow your thoughts to quiet and do a little bit of a scan of your body. And you can also observe your mind and body. And these are 4 different things we're going to talk a little bit more about, and they don't have to be in any particular order. So pacing your breathing is really interesting. There's so many studies on this that even military snipers are using different breathing techniques to help calm their nerves in very high stress situations. So this first one is the 4x4 method, and sometimes people will call this box breathing. And oftentimes what they do is they're going to breathe in for 4 seconds, have a pause, breathe out for 4 seconds, and pause. And by counting, you're helping to calm that nervous system down. And that is going to be one of the fastest, easiest, and most tried and tested ways to have some fast results. Now, the good news is that when you are really, really stressed out, like in a panic type of moment, this is a great way to get back to feeling yourself. The next one that we're going to mention here is a 7-11 method. Now, the 7-11 method is where you're going to breathe in for 7 seconds and out for 11. That means that you're breathing out slightly longer than you're breathing in. And if you've ever felt very anxious and high stress, sometimes you can't do this. You just don't have enough capacity of your lungs to get to 11 seconds out. So that's why we put that 4x4 method first. That is the easiest and fastest way to start to feel better. The 7-11 method is incredible. It can bring down your heart rate once you can get that much breath and lung capacity, then you'll be able to do a little bit longer, but you don't ever want to push yourself past a comfort zone. This 7-Eleven method can bring you into deep relaxation. The next one is an alternate nose breathing. This is used a lot in yoga classes, and Abby, our yoga instructor tonight, may even mention this, but this particular type of breathing is wonderful for easing anxiety. And this is where you're going to be blocking one side of the nose and breathing in through one side and out through one side, and switch sides. Breathe in through one side and out through one side. There's a few different ways of doing this, but you can give it a try. Sometimes you need to grab a tissue and see, and you may have to blow your nose a bit. But this is, you can just do it at your own pace. It doesn't have to be a certain amount of time. This can be a wonderful exercise to calm your brain. So a lot of times when your body's flustered and our system is just on overdrive, we can use the first two methods. When your brain is going too fast and you can't calm down your thoughts, number 3 can be a wonderful thing to try. If you have any confusion about how to do this, this is really easy to Google. There'll be tons of articles on this one. Another thing we can do is, in observing our breath, is just placing your hand on your chest. There are different types of pressure points around your body, and many people say that when you put your hand on your chest to breathe, it forms a circuit or a connection with your brain that's very calming. And intuitively, we think when we feel sometimes emotionally overwhelmed, this is one of the first things we naturally do. And that's a nice observation. So when you're breathing in, you want your chest to rise and your belly to go out. Like a sleeping baby, their belly gets really big and full when they take a nice deep breath in. And as they breathe out, you're going to want to have your abdomen clenched just slightly. So you're going to breathe all the air out, and we're going to have a contraction phase. When we're talking about grounding yourself, this is an interesting term that a lot of people use that are used to going to yoga, but if you're not going to any kind of meditations or yoga classes, you may not be familiar with this term of grounding. But this reference we're going to use to connecting yourself back down to the floor and the earth. Oftentimes we get stuck in our heads, and this is bringing us out of our mind, back into our body, and back connected to the earth. So you take in a moment just to observe where you're standing or sitting. Notice how your feet are connecting to the floor, and picture how the floor is connecting to the ground. And then imagine the ground connecting you to all living things. You're going back to your roots. You can even picture your body like rooted into the ground with a deep connection to the earth. This is more helpful than you'd think. There's so many studies on how being in nature and doing gardening, having your hands in the dirt, can positively affect your mood, lift depression, help with blood pressure and anxiety, and just bring overall calm, happiness, and joy. So a lot of the time in nature, we feel very grounded and close to the earth. So this is a similar concept. The next point was to allow your thoughts to quiet while you scan your body for tension. Now, in a normal relaxation exercise, you would be shifting from thinking in your head, and you're going to bring your awareness from your thoughts about your day or your problems or things that are difficult, and you're going to bring them into your body. Not only does this give you a chance for your mind to calm down, but when you're focusing on something else, you can actually check in with your body and ask what it needs and what you can do to help support your mind and body as well. So you can start just by bringing your attention to the top of your head, just the skin, your scalp, your muscles, anywhere you may feel tension. This is a big tension spot right here, perhaps right along the back side of the head. And you want to just bring relaxation into those areas, the forehead, the temples, and the jaw. And then you can bring your attention to your neck and your upper part of your spine, and relax the base of your skull and your shoulders and your chest. Notice any tension around your body. This can be anywhere, but we oftentimes see this very commonly in the neck and the shoulders. So when you breathe into these areas, imagine that your breath is like a warm candle wax, just really, really light, not too hot. And that candle wax is just going into those areas of your body you're feeling tension and just melting, just like the wax would melt on a candle. And when you breathe, you want to just imagine that breath going into your body, into the spots that you're feeling tension, and starting to relax those muscles and ease them. And you can try this right now if you'd like. Just in your shoulders, you can kind of feel where you may have some tension in your neck possibly, and just take a deep breath and imagine that breath like warm candle wax, bringing melting calmness and ease into those areas. I have to do it in a lot of areas. I think I feel it all over the place sometimes. Some people will feel this in their jaw, temples very, very commonly. Some people will clench their fists and they'll feel it in their hands. A lot of times people will feel this in their hips or even their chests. They may even be shrugging their shoulders a bit. The next one is observing your mind and body. And this is where you're connecting with your intuition. This is where you can actually ask your body questions. You can see, how am I feeling today? Am I getting any suggestions from my body for things that I may need? You can do a little scan. What's my stress level on a scale of 1 to 10? How stressed do I feel right now? And what can I do to maybe improve this? Do I need to go for a walk? Maybe do some stretching? Maybe call somebody and talk it out a little bit. You can ask yourself, what's your mood? Oops, I'll go back a moment there. How can you shift into a more positive state? Maybe we need to be thinking about something we actually feel happy about, something that we love, or something that we're grateful for. And those things are the quickest way to shift our mind into a positive state. And this is the fundamental law of mindfulness, is that you're taking the time to not only assess what you need, but to start at the most fundamental level, which is changing your thoughts. The next one is whether or not you're feeling pain. And you can check in and just see what areas of your body are feeling that little bit of pain. I'm not sure if that just closed out for you guys too, but give me one moment while my screen comes back on. Just catch up here. Okay. Sorry about that. You can ask if you are feeling hungry, if you're feeling tired. You may need a nap. A lot of times people fight their own signals. Their body's telling them to do something and they refuse. They have other things they have to do. They maybe need to do something that makes them feel content. And they may need to do something that makes them feel more like themselves. This could be an activity like reading, like drawing, knitting. It could be an athletic activity, doing a puzzle. We all have things that make us feel like ourselves. I know there's certain kinds of tea where I just make it, the smell of it, the taste of it, it just brings me back to a time where I was feeling really good and really like myself. And just to finish up, everybody's go on their own journey of managing their stress and trying to feel better. And wherever you are and whatever you do, anything that you're thinking and feeling is okay. We are practicing the art of observation, and there's a learning curve. We can't always change the way we feel, but we can observe it so that we know what we'd like to work on. Everybody wants to feel better. And just bringing that moment to say, it's okay that I feel like this. It might be terrible. It might be wonderful. It's all part of my journey, and I'm just where I need to be. And there's a really beautiful picture for you to just kind of feel how the environment, colors in the air, nature, these things can all make you feel a little bit more grounded, and it can remind you to take a deep breath and soak things in a little bit. All right. Hopefully here we can get this out of screen sharing mode. There we go. Okay. I hope you all enjoyed that first segment of our presentation. And next up, we have Abby from Tranquil Base. And I'm going to unmute you, Abby.
Oh, okay. I was going to go into that too. Hello, everyone.
Thank you so much for being here. All right.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me. Absolutely. How is everybody? Hopefully well.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you.
Good. So thanks, Lauren, again, for creating this. Yes, my name is Abby. I am the owner of the Tranquil Base here in Sandwich. And I started this about a year ago. The business itself opened a year ago. So we've been a year full in. And really what my message and what I want to bring to you tonight is that yoga is accessible for everybody. So when you, go ahead. Was it something you wanted to say, Lauren? Sorry.
Oh, nope. I'm not sure. Someone's microphone, I think, was making some static.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So yeah, like I was saying, yoga is accessible for everybody. And really what it is about is moving. And that's what my main kind of message is moving and using your breath to feel better. Right now, today, all it takes is a few minutes. And you don't even need a mat. You just need to stand up or sit down I'm sitting on a pillow right now. And actually, it's funny that Lauren mentioned alternate nostril breathing. It's called Nadi Sodhana, and I do practice that a lot in classes. So we're gonna do a little bit of that to begin. It's a really nice, easy way to bring yourself out of the outside clutter that you may be feeling. We all have days like that where we're all kind of bunched up and we don't even know like what to do with ourselves sometimes, and we may feel frustrated, and all like range of emotions, especially in stressful times like we're living in right now. A lot of people are really stressed out, they're on edge, they're really worried about financial stuff, about a lot of things, their health, right, their loved ones. And so Nadi Sodhana is one of the practices of the breath. And if you would like, we'll begin with that. It's a perfect way to start a practice it's very accessible. So if you have a tissue, you might just want to blow your nose here and just, we have allergy season right now. Pollen just started to really hit. Everything is opening and beautiful and blooming. And so that's another thing too, is bringing your focus to something good. Even if it's like the simplest thing, like, wow, I saw a pretty little bud on the tree today, or that bird that was sitting there and watching me the whole time. Like little things like that. If you're in a really like a dark and kind of fearful space, start to focus on really small, simple, back to basic things that you can draw yourself out of that negative momentum and back into yourself. So let's practice a little Nadi Sodhana this evening. It's a great breath for any time of day. So we're gonna if you wanna just find a seat, it doesn't have to be on the floor. I happen to be in the studio, so I'm cross-legged, I'm on the floor. You can be in a chair, and just make sure that your feet are on the ground. Feet are on the ground, and you wanna sit up nice and tall. And we'll go through just a little bit of breath and spine movement the next 15 minutes or so. So just bring yourself sitting nice and tall. There is nothing you need to do except close your eyes. So just begin here, close your eyes. And you can have your palms facing down on your lap for now, before we begin. Have your palms facing down and feel your body, feel your feet planted, toes start to relax. Notice how you're breathing. We never really pause and notice how we're breathing. We're always going, going, going. And so just begin to melt the shoulders down the back. Notice if you're holding your shoulders up. And then draw attention to the crown of your head. And the crown of your head, lift it up towards the sky. Keep your eyes soft and see if you can feel your scalp. And relax your scalp, your hair, your ears, your eyelids. And let that draw you in a bit. That feeling of just relaxing and letting the face go. Good. Just take a little scan of your body as you begin to notice the way you're breathing. And so in a lot of yoga classes, I will say, they begin just like this. And you just breathe here. You can do this on your own any time of day. Just begin noticing and bringing a very small focus to different parts of the body, scanning down. Release your jaw, release your tongue. Create a little space with the shoulders and the neck. Good. And now we're going to bring, slowly start to just open the eyes. Now that you're a little bit calmer, more inward, start to open the eyes. And you can look at the screen. You can keep this left hand down on your lap. And I like to teach Nadi Sodhana with peace fingers. So bring those peace fingers to the third eye, which is this little area right between the eyebrows. Okay? And give yourself a little massage there first. Give yourself a little pressure and create little circles along that little spot there. Good. And then pause. Pause here. So you have access to your nostrils with the thumb here, and then the pinky and the ring finger. So no struggle. Don't worry if you don't get it. You can keep practicing. We're going to do it for quite a few rounds here. So I'm going to show you. We're going to block off. So you don't want to really press. You want to just lightly press the nostril, that right nostril with the thumb. Inhale through the left nostril here. Inhale as deep as you can without struggling. Pausing at the top. So let's begin. Inhale. Pause. Block off the left nostril. Exhale through the right. Pause at the bottom. Inhale, right nostril. Pause. Block off right. Exhale left. Pause at the bottom. Inhale left. Pause. Block off left. Exhale right. Pause. Inhale right. Block off right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Block off left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Block off right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Block off left. Exhale right. Last one. Inhale right. Block off right. Exhale left. All the way out. Keep your eyes closed. Bring both hands to your lap. And now find a deep breath in through your nose. Both nostrils clear. Hold the breath. And open your mouth. Relax those shoulders down the back. And then open the eyes. And just feel that subtle effect of pranayama, a huge part of the yoga practice. So if you have access and maybe you want to Come into an easy pose if you want to cross your legs, or are you on the floor, or are you on a chair? We can just move a little bit into a twist here. So just show you some few little exercises, movements that you can do that will help you feel better right away. That was one of them, the Nadi Sodhana. Do at least 10 rounds of that. And help you feel better. It balances left and right side, emotion and logic. And it opens up the meridians in our body. When you start to breathe deeper and you start to move through different, just even a simple thing like coming up here, you're moving fluid just by moving your arms. You're opening different ways to breathe into places that don't usually get breath, down into the armpits, all the glands that we have around under here in our throats and in our neck, and just kind of moving your neck around. So let's do a few little neck rolls here. So just pause with me and relax and roll the neck out. So when I talk about meridians and moving energy, moving breath, you're moving the energy that you're made of around your body. And so you're gonna feel better right away. You're letting more oxygen to the cells, more oxygen to the brain. Let your neck pause and center. Inhale, take a breath into the nose. On your exhale, relax the shoulders down and let the right ear fall to right shoulder. Inhale, come back to center, take a breath. On your exhale, left ear, left shoulder. Just relax the shoulders down the back. Really stay present in the body. Again, inhale back to center. On your exhale, just tuck the chin to the chest. Inhale and lift the head. And if it's safe and you're okay with your neck, as you exhale, just let your gaze lift towards the sky. Get a nice breath into this whole front, neck, and throat. Deep inhale. And draw the head slowly up with the neck. Take a breath, lift those arms way up to the sky. Connect your fingers if you can. And on your exhale, turn your body, big wide arms to the right. Can you twist? Even in a chair, you can do this. Keep your spine long. And then take a breath and feel a little lift of the crown of the head up. And exhale, feel the belly pulling in on the exhale, like Lauren talked about. Inhale, feel the belly getting big. Exhale, feel the belly pulling towards spine. We're going to breathe in and lift to the center. Connect your fingers. On your exhale, just turn your body nice and easy to the left side. Good. And then feel the breath right away. Organize yourself. Inhale, belly. Belly breath, belly expands, low to belly. Exhale, belly comes in. One more breath. Good. Come back to center. Inhale. Lauren, you can tell me when my time is up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Good. And so we're going to do a little bit of opening here in your chair, in your office, at your home office, wherever you want to do this, standing up, however you are seated or standing right now. We're going to just open our arms wide to the side. Inhale, take a breath, and if it's okay with your neck, look up. On your exhale, start to round the back and press your hands together. Tuck the chin a little bit. Can you feel that beautiful breath again? Inhale and open the heart space. Feel a wide heart. Exhale, round the back. Press your hands together and kiss the belly towards the spine. Two more. Inhale, open the chest. Exhale, round the back. Yoga is accessible for everybody. You don't have to look like a pretzel. One more. Exhale back. It's just about moving. And then we're going to take our arms again. Inhale and take those arms to the sky. Reach up and exhale and just take the hands to heart space. Pause with those hands at heart space. Close the eyes if you want. And just feel that subtle energy coursing through your body. It's all about connecting, unison, one. Good. One more breath here. Connect those thumbs into the heart space. And exhale. Beautiful. And we're gonna bring our hands back down to our lap. I don't know what time we have, but we have a little time left, Lauren, or no?
Yeah, Abby, about 3 minutes.
Oh, about 3 minutes. Okay. So let's end with a little bit of breath, and we'll take about a minute of that alternate nostril breathing. And we'll do that again because it's a nice kind of closer, kind of balancer. So again, bring your left hand to your lap, peace fingers, third eye, right thumb, right nostril. Always begin with the left nostril, inhaling. And also, I want you to think about elongating the breath as much as you can. Pause, exhale, bottom, exhale, at the bottom, pause. And then again, begin. So we'll begin here, pausing with the right thumb on the right nostril, inhale. On your exhale, block off left. Exhale, right. Inhale, right. Block off right. Exhale, left. Inhale, left. Block off left. Exhale, right. Inhale, right. Block off right. Exhale, left. Inhale, left. Feel the belly getting big. Block off left. Exhale, right. Last one. Inhale, right. Block off right. Exhale, left. Bring both hands to your lap. And feel the hips pressing down wherever you're sitting. Feel the crown of the head lifting towards sky. And just a gentle, deep breath here. So inhale. Open your mouth and just relax the shoulders. Good. Let's all bring our hands to heart center again. With your eyes closed, just send whatever it is, love, compassion, some energy of yours to a loved one, a cause, something that you care about. It's all about clearing the junk, the stuff that makes us feel really stressed, really worried, and just finding that little bit of a clear path to your energy, to your power, to your center. Bring your hands up to third eye. And the light and dark in me salutes the light and dark in you. From my heart to yours, thanks for being here. Namaste. Thanks everybody for joining me for that little tiny bit of movement and breath that you can do on your own. Simple twists, simply moving the arms, anything that you can synchronize your breath with the movement. And again, thanks Lauren for being the creator and organizer of this and getting the message out there that, again, like I said, you don't have to look, like the yoga magazines, although that is beautiful to see, but it's really about you going and listening to your body, like Lauren talked about, listening to your body, and that's the most important thing for sure. So thank you again, and have an awesome evening. And thanks, Lauren. I'm not sure if I have to do anything or.
Oh, no, you don't have to do a thing, but I'm going to go ahead and just say thank you so much for that. I'm going to unmute everybody right now. And let's give Abby a nice round of applause because that was so peaceful and calming.
Aww.
Thank you so much.
Good, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. That's really what it's about. And thanks for the applause, but really what the message is, feel better now. You can feel better right now, right this minute, in this moment. No need to say, oh, wait till I lose 10 pounds, I'll get there. Wait till I do this, I'll get there, you know? We all do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, that's all. Thanks again, Lauren. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I thank you for, that was what I was hoping that you would do, was be the alternate nose breathing, because my description, I just didn't have time to go through and do the whole thing, and you're the expert, so I really am thankful that people got to see that one and try it.
Yes,
because it really does help you balance your brain. That left and right brain synchronicity is helpful. And I just want to, bounce back to that feeling of being grounded. If you did this exercise and you're feeling really good right now, I just want you to remember that we'll call that being grounded. And you want to just observe things that you do in your life that make you feel like this. And finding a good yoga studio, finding whatever exercise or activities that work for you, just give them a try. You may not have tried this before, you may do this all the time, but feeling like this is really nice. I know that I appreciated that. It didn't take very long for me to completely change my whole feel of the body. So that was just what we needed. We thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody for a moment. And I'm going to go ahead and introduce Madison. Madison Schultz does this beautiful henna work. Hello, Madison. Let's just see if we can hear you.
Hi, everyone.
Yay. Okay, beautiful. Let's put you in the spotlight here. All right. Thanks for being with us tonight. I have had Madison in my classes before. She does this really beautiful artwork with henna. It is a plant that grows that has some beautiful pigment to it. And it's very calming to the skin. It's very cooling. And if you have ever been to any of my Ayurveda classes in my intuitive eating course, or any other practices on Ayurveda, you've heard of things that warm you, things that cool you, things that balance you. And we're going to take that and take the next step into the traditional artwork and just getting creative. So these are things that you can buy kits for, try at home, or when the world opens back up. Madison, you can tell us if you're going to be any certain events. I'm not sure if we know yet, but that we've had Madison at the Harwich Stroll. Not I've had, but she's done that stroll and some other things. So welcome, Madison. I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you so much, Lauren. And thank you everyone for being here. I'm so excited. I'm glad I got to jump in for a little bit and do that amazing grounding work. I feel so much calmer. Of course, I was a little nervous, so that was so helpful. Thank you, Abigail. So as Lauren said, my name is Madison. I've been doing henna or mehndi art for over 10 years, kind of on and off, since I was a teenager. And I absolutely love it. I think it's such a great way to express your creativity. And of course, the most amazing benefit is that it's temporary. So if you're not ready for a real tattoo, you can use some mehndi powder paste to do a little design on your skin. And as Lauren mentioned as well, the Ayurveda healing and ways to cool and heal and warm your body, the henna is a wonderful cooling paste or plant that you can use. So historically, mehndi art, the plant itself was utilized about 5,000 years ago. It's pretty amazing. And during that time, it's primarily used in Pakistan, India, and Africa. And there were a lot of, high-priced jewels and gems that the high-class citizens would show off their wealth. And so henna was discovered as having a cooling property, as well as a slight pigment alteration to the skin. So the lower class started using, sorry. My cat Tom, sorry about that. He wanted to get involved. So the lower class in Pakistan and Africa and India started using henna as a way to express themselves and to kind of create a more commonality between all of classes. So you could use henna whether you were rich or poor, and you could look beautiful no matter what. It's traditionally used in ceremonies such as weddings or baby showers, birthdays, anything like that. They do some pretty amazing artwork. I just have a little picture here. This is an example of what they would do for a celebration. They would do the artwork on your hands and your feet. Absolutely exquisite detail. So henna also has a lot of medicinal properties besides being cooling on your skin. In Africa and India and Pakistan, it's a very hot desert climate, so they use the paste to keep their skin cool and out of the sun. It also can be used to treat your hair. It's a hair dye as well as a treatment for hair loss, and can be used to treat dandruff as well. It does dye your hair, so that's the only thing. It has a kind of an orange red, almost auburny pigment to it. So just be aware when you use it for your hair. So I did also want to go through kind of what I do and what I use to create my henna paste. I use an all natural henna powder. It comes from Silk and Stone. I get it in bulk. It's absolutely amazing, super fine ground. It is no chemicals, no preservatives. It's animal friendly, or rather cruelty free, all natural. And what I do is I take the powder, which is just a kind of a green dried powder, and I mix that up with a little bit of essential oil, primarily lavender. That's the best way to have or the best essential that I've come across to have the staining or the pigment alteration to your skin. It really binds to your skin a little bit better. So I just mix that with a little bit of water until it's really, really fine, and you get this little paste here. And I just eyeball it now until you get the right paste consistency that you want. And you can buy henna powder online. That's where I usually get it, from the Silk and Stone. And you can get stencils from many different vendors as well, or you can do freehand, which I love to do. And you can also purchase these little bottles. To do the henna art, they do have kits available online. And a lot of those will come with a cone to use for doing the design. I don't have a lot of experience using the cone. I like the bottles because it's a little bit cleaner and it's reusable. So I do enjoy that. And then you can get little tips to go on top with different gauges as you kind of figure out what works for you with your design. So I will do a little demonstration. I do, as Lauren mentioned, I do henna tattoos during the Harwich Music Stroll, which unfortunately probably won't be going on this summer. I'm not sure yet. I haven't really heard, but I usually have a little table set up by Sativa in Harwichport doing henna tattoos. I absolutely love it, and the kids love it. It's just something fun to do. It's like face painting, and it's temporary. And for that, I usually do use stencils to help it it makes it easier for the kids to make decisions on fun, creative things. But occasionally I have someone do a freehand art, which I do love. So an example, let's see here. I get my inspiration really from all sorts of places when I do my freehand art. From nature, especially a lot of the traditional Mendi art is very floral, a lot of flowers or leaves and vines. It's absolutely gorgeous. And of course, I'm sure you all know what mandalas are. So those are another example. I just have this little mandala book for inspiration for different designs. And among other things. So I don't know if this might be difficult to do a little demonstration on my hand on the front of the camera. So with the paste in the bottle, and I have my little needle on there. Let's see, let's make sure I have one. Okay, I'm just gonna move the camera down a little bit so you can see. Any questions so far, actually, with the information I've shared? I just wanna see if anyone has any additional questions in regards to the medicinal value of henna or the history. I don't know if you can unmute on your own, or Lauren, if you have to unmute others, if anyone has
they can unmute if you'd like. And I did ask also in the beginning if people did have questions, that it was preferred to have them in the chat, though you are absolutely welcome to chime in.
Okay. All right, now we'll just take a quick peek at that. Yes, Lauren did mention lavender is great for your skin. It absolutely is. It has such a great calming value to it. And that's one of the things that I love about mixing it with the henna as well. So when you're doing the artwork and expressing that creativity, you have this really nice grounding and calming feeling with the lavender. All right. So we'll see if this will work. I'm just gonna move my camera down. Hopefully you can see. Okay. So like I said, free art is one of my favorite things to do, and I love to do, most of the designs that you see are very mandala inspired. So you'll see a lot of flowers and leaves and vines. Hopefully everyone can see here. Hold on one moment. Let me switch this. Thanks for your patience. Appreciate it. Okay. So certainly a steady hand is important to have when you're doing the Mendi art. But I think the most important part is to really just have fun with it and enjoy what you're doing and just express yourself with the designs that you do. And even if you make a mistake or it doesn't look even or perfect, that's another thing when it comes to expressing your creativity. Anything goes. You can just make a couple of little additions and it all looks beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and everyone expresses themselves in different ways. So it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm definitely one of those perfectionists myself, so it can be difficult. So this is just a little example of something that you can do freehand, just anything that kind of is flowing. This is just kind of what came out so far. Let's see. Of course, if I get too crazy on my own arms or legs, I tend to, the space grows exponentially when I'm doing it to my own body. As I kind of move and do different things. I hope everyone is able to see. Definitely let me know if that's too difficult to see. There's a lot of lighting in this room. See, little by little, even if it's not quite perfect or the way we perfectionists love it to be, the more detail you put on there, the more beautiful it really becomes, honestly. One minute left. Thanks, Lauren. All right, so I'll just stop there real quick. So I'll just hold it up.
Messenger audio.
This is what I got so far. Certainly plenty more to go on that.
Messenger video.
Oh, sorry about that. Now, after you've applied the henna to your skin, it's important to, thank you. Oh, geez, thank you so
Messenger
much.
video.
It takes a while, but honestly, even if you're inexperienced with doing henna, it's just super fun to just,
Messenger video.
oh, sorry about that. It's just something that's super fun to do, to be creative and express yourself. And, you know, whenever I have a batch of henna, I'll just be drawing on myself for a little while, and it's very calming. And so once you put it on your skin, you want to let that sit for a little while, at least 20 minutes, until you start to see it get kind of crusted and really dried out. And the longer it's there, the better stain you get on the skin, the darker the color is going to be for your design. You can even, once it starts to get dry, you can even re-moisturize it with a little bit of olive oil or essential oil, and that'll help moisten it, and then the color will stay a little bit, or go a little bit darker, and it turns, once you let it dry, you can wash off the henna paste, and then it's kind of an orange color. And then the next day, about 24 hours later, it becomes a little bit of an auburn design. It's really, really beautiful. As we could see, this is the picture I had shown before. This one, this is fresh henna that had been put on. So it'll be that dark color. Here's another example as well. Something as simple as that. A little sun.
That's really beautiful, Madison. I love that kind of surprise phase after it dries and starts to crust off, that it's actually starting to stain your skin. And
Yeah.
actually, you're right, it does. The first day it gets really orangey before it gets brown. And then it just looks so pretty and it feels so nice on your skin. And then the next week you can just go get a different design.
Exactly. You're
And
not
it's
ready for
nice
that permanent tattoo.
And if people don't even have the henna kits, it's nice just to draw on paper.
Yep.
And practicing those mandalas. Just watching you draw and practicing drawing things like that is really calming. And I really appreciate you doing that for us today. We love seeing it, and I think everybody wants to go pick out some kits. If you have any links or anything you'd like to share,
Yeah,
go
absolutely.
ahead and put it right in the comments. And I'm going to take everybody off of mute right now. Everybody, if you want to give Madison a round of applause, thanks so much for your demonstration about henna.
Yay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
I appreciate
Madison.
it.
All right. Well, thank you again. And next up, we are running just a little bit over on time, but I gave a buffer because if anybody knows me, they know I need a little extra time. So we do have plenty of time to finish up. Jennifer Dibble is up next. Jen, I'm so glad you got in. You had a little trouble with technology stuff, but I'm going to go ahead and spotlight you here. I'm really grateful that you're here today. I think a lot of people are excited for your presentation. Jen is a clinical therapist and the founder of The Space in Dennis, which is a place that I've had my classes. It's a beautiful location and there's so much going on there. So check out The Space and what classes and services and amazing stuff they have going on there. It's really cool. So Jen, take it away.
Thank you. Am I muted?
No, I'm going to go ahead and
Can you hear
I'm going to mute everybody and then I'll just unmute you back.
Okay. 'Cause technology and I are trying to be friends. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, we can hear you. I'm going to go ahead and
Okay.
mute myself. Thank you.
So I would like to start by being really honest that I was not being mindful today. I thought I was being mindful. But thanks to Lauren's email, I realized that I was mindful in my moment, but I was not mindful of my greater life scheme. And so thank you, Lauren. You pulled me in. I have had technical difficulties as well today, so I'm glad it all worked out. And I'm here. So thank you all. So part of mindfulness is becoming aware. So I think it would be helpful for us to all soften the gaze or close the eyes, and whatever is most comfortable for you in this moment on this video. And just arrive in the moment that we're at, noticing the beautiful henna that we just witnessed, and noticing that moment, appreciating and feeling gratitude for that moment. That was beautiful. And then arriving in this one. And just noticing where your thoughts are at this moment. Noticing if they're still with the beautiful henna, or if they're wondering what I may say next. And just noticing that with kindness. And then allowing yourself to really arrive in this moment for yourself. Noticing how you feel. And maybe noticing where the breath is for you in this moment. No need to judge or change it, but just notice it. Arriving in this moment. And then gently opening the eyes if they were closed and coming back to joining the group. So I noticed, I had a thought and a plan for today, for this evening, and then in how today played out for me, I shifted and changed. So what led me to the place of non-mindfulness, I find personal responsibility greatly important in the skill of mindfulness. And so, being honest with yourself as well as others around you to whatever extent that you can. And so it was very interesting arriving in the moment in which Lauren sent me the email, and I happened to look at my phone, really wanting to be in this moment, and then having it completely disappear from my mind. And as I noticed my day, I realized that I had felt very reactionary throughout the day. I went food shopping today, as maybe some of you have, and there are multiple, I find, moments in our ever-changing world, right? So going to the title of this, Mindfulness in the Ever-Changing World, it can be very surprising and take us a little bit off guard. And I find myself to, I practice mindfulness, I practice meditation, I practice yoga. I am a mental health clinician, and I feel fairly present in my life. But what I noticed today is that I went to the grocery store after I taught a yoga class online and then did a yoga group class online. And I was in a wonderful space, and I went grocery shopping. And when I went grocery shopping, I had multiple experiences in which I felt a physical reaction that happened in my body. And I don't often use the word triggered, although many people around me do. And so I'm going to use that now because I feel like it's very accurate for what happened throughout my day today. I was met with not kind words or actions or feelings from people around me, and therefore I then reacted. And that's a place that I have consciously moved away from with the mindfulness practice. And so noticing that, then I noticed my mind getting really, really busy and continuing to try to engage in something that would pull me out of that. And so I just share that. I share that because I think it's really important that no matter what our practice is, how much yoga we do, how much meditation we do, how many limbs of yoga we may practice with meditation and all of that, we are human. I am human. And it happened to me today for sure. So I thank you all for allowing me to share that. I thank you for being patient. I really had the intention when Lauren asked me to be here through the entire program. Looking forward to all of the other presentations. And I feel sadness that I missed that. So I apologize to all of you who presented that I wasn't here. And I will settle with kindness for myself that I did the best that I could. And I was aware of my struggles throughout the day and meeting them, and that I get to be here right now. And I'm really grateful for that. So thank you all for letting me be here. And with that, I would like to share. So I primarily work in the mental health field. I specialize in the field of trauma. And so I love the field of neuroscience and learning about that. And definitely am greatly influenced by a mindfulness practice. And neuroscience and mindfulness go hand in hand. So recently I was listening to a short half-hour lecture talk from Bessel van der Kolk. I can put it here. If anyone wants to Google him, I highly recommend. So he is renowned in the field of trauma. Oh, Lauren, that went to you. Maybe you can help me technology-wise. Thank you. My greatest struggle through this, one of them. So Bessel van der Kolk is renowned in the field of trauma, and he recently had a 30-minute talk in which he shared 6 points, which I find incredibly useful, and I will continue to share in my own way. So right now I have a YouTube channel for yoga that you can access, and I'm doing a 6-part series incorporating what he says, which I will share, and producing a class. That's interesting. producing a class that meets each one of these head on. So when a traumatic situation happens to us, and I would define trauma by anything that happens that we interpret as a negative experience and is difficult or impossible, as for young children, it may be to process. And so widening the scope of trauma. We may be able to see this experience for ourselves that we're all sharing as a collective traumatic experience. We are all being affected in some way that is outside of our normal everyday life. And so when that happens, to bring in a little bit of the neuroscience, there's a very small part of the brain called the amygdala, which many of you may have already heard of, the part that it's at the very top of our spinal column. It's the most primal part of our brain. It's the most automatic and reactionary part. It is the reactionary part of our brain. And it sends us into fight, flight, or freeze. And that is our protection. It's great. People ask me if we can remove it. I would highly advise not doing that. It protects us and keeps us safe. But it's activated a lot more than it needs to be. When that part of our brain is activated, and it is only activated by fear, we go into fight, or freeze, and hormones or chemicals are released into our body to address a stressful situation. Many of the systems in our body are shut down and others turn on. And all of that is not helpful at all unless we are actually experiencing a life or death situation. This situation may feel like life or death that we are currently in. And so that poses even a greater challenge for our mental health. And we may fall prey to that automatic part of our brain more often than we normally would, as I experienced today. When that part, so there's a lot that happens, and I won't get into it all here. You can all feel free to reach out, and I'm happy to share more. The important thing that I'd like to share, when that part of our brain is activated, our immune system drops. It's suppressed, and we're more susceptible to whatever may be out there. And again, that part of our brain is only activated by fear. So the question is, can we move through our lives in a mindful way without being afraid? And I think that's a difficult question right now for a lot of people. So back to Bessel for a moment. There are 6 reactions that happen when that part of our brain is activated, when we're feeling afraid. And the first one is that we feel like we can't predict the future. We were never able to predict the future. We thought we were, but we're really not. So noticing that, right? A big part of mindfulness is just noticing. Noticing we can't predict the future. But then mindfully, how do we move through life? And I would suggest that creating some sort of structure for ourselves, some sort of routine, some sort of rhythm is really important. Again, it's going to get thrown off. I practice this every day. Mine got thrown off today. So meeting that with kindness, which is another part of mindfulness. So it's the awareness. And I would like to actually recognize Alexandria, who's here, who is another founder of The Rose. of the rose, of the space, the rose. And so the space, the place that Lauren shared that we founded, stands for Sustainable Practices of Awareness, Care, and Expression. So in mindfulness, awareness, the awareness, the honesty of where I stand, my situation today. That's what happened. Care would be the kindness. So rather than judging myself right now, being afraid that all of you may judge me, just meeting it with kindness. So can we meet a routine, a schedule, a rhythm for ourselves with kindness, knowing that it might get thrown off? And then meeting it with kindness and jumping back on. Here I am. So knowing that we can't predict the future, this first step, can we play with having some control over our current situation? I shut my computer down, I turned it back on, I get to see faces. That's awesome. That was the control that I had. So Madison, who did the henna with us, she was talking about being a perfectionist, right? So it's playing with that. Can I just notice this? Can I meet it with kindness? And can I just play with that beautiful artwork and just keep going until it's absolutely stunning because of this? So that would be the first step, creating a rhythm, a routine. I think on social media, we've heard a lot about that. It's extremely important. Some sort of routine for ourselves with a flow, you know? Maybe I meditate earlier, go for a walk later, or whatever it may look like. So the second is we start to feel like we can't do anything. We become immobile and we lose agency. And I hear a lot in my private practice that this is happening for people. I don't want to get out of bed. I'm just going to keep watching Netflix, YouTube. And that's a struggle, right? I think every single human being, every single one of us, if we're really honest, have felt that, and maybe more so recently. So what can we do to act, to move, and to meet that with kindness and to continue doing that in whatever way we can? So the yoga class that I led this morning, it started with us pretending we were still in bed. And what can you do there? Here, I would say bringing yoga in, the in-breath brings energy and the out-breath relaxes us. So playing with breath. So actually, speaking of breath, I would love to teach you an energizing breath that you could use if you feel that way. If you're laying in bed and just don't want to go outside because it's cloudy. So I'm in a very small space, but you can do this one standing up. But I don't have the room, so I'm going to do it sitting down. So it's a 3-part breath. It's the breath of joy. And it's 3-part breathing in. So you breathe in. So it's, can't really see me, but if you imagine breathing in to the first part of your lungs, breathing in on the second breath, or it's a 3-part breath. So breathing in a third, breathing in a third, breathing in a third, and then breathing out. And you use your arms. So it looks like this. Nice, Alex. I didn't see anyone else, but yeah, Alex knows this one. So when you do that, when you breathe in, you can start feeling an energy building in you. So the in-breath brings energy. So if you need energy, that's a good one to try. You can't do it wrong. So if your arms go out instead of up, don't worry about it. If you can't move your arms, you know, if the shoulders are tight, maybe you just do this. So the important part is just the 3 short breaths in and then the long breath out. If you play with it, you'll probably feel a sense of energy. If you need a relaxing breath, find the out breath and breathe out as long as you possibly can. Maybe hold it at the end before you breathe back in. So the out breath activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest. Our nervous system has 2 sides, rest and digest, the out breath. And the sympathetic is it does activate the fight, flight, freeze part of the brain, but we can do that in a positive way. And that's what you're getting. You're getting that rush. We often feel like a rush of adrenaline when the amygdala is activated. So using the breath for energy. The third thing that happens when we experience a traumatic situation or disturbing situation that we become afraid in is we isolate. Isn't that ironic? So also any situation that causes one of these things to happen will also cause the system to go out of balance. So again, even if you practice mindfulness every day, if you are forced to isolate in some way, it could trigger you. So noticing that we are in a state in some way of isolation from each other. We are currently on Zoom rather than a room in the space or somewhere else together. Connecting with humans is really important. However you choose to do that. And again, meeting that with kindness. So if your neighbor chooses to completely isolate and only talk to people online, that is their right. If you choose to have a barbecue with your neighbors because you trust the situation and you feel safe, that is your right. Engaging somehow, making a phone call, doing whatever works for you in a safe and kind and comfortable way, engaging with people. From the mental health standpoint, this makes me very nervous, honestly, this state of isolation for human beings, because when we isolate from each other, when we don't have contact, or when we pass each other in the supermarket and you can feel the energy creating a separation from the other person to you, that distance causes a mental health imbalance. It's really important to be mindful of the way that we carry ourselves, that we're not sending off that energy, get away from me, that we're meeting that with kindness, connecting in some way, not feeling isolated, connecting with the people that in your lives that you know may be more isolated and reaching out to them, knowing that that can trigger a response for people. So connecting. When Bessel was talking about isolation, he lives in Boston, and so he said every night at 7 o'clock, his entire neighborhood starts playing music. Like, I haven't yet in this period of isolation picked up an instrument, but it is kind of on my mind. So they all pick up their instruments and they play, you know, and many of us have probably seen videos of Italy doing that as well. I'm sure other places. Sing songs with people, play music with people, play games with people, connect. The fourth thing that happens is we numb ourselves. So that is the brain and the body's natural response to not feeling what's actually happening in the moment. I have said a couple of times in different groups that I find that in this current situation, even if people were on the line of like, oh, maybe I'm drinking a little bit too much or watching the television a little bit too much or whatever we were struggling with to numb ourselves out is magnified. So can we just be honest with that and look at that? We all do it. We're all human. We all do it in different ways. So can we look at how we're numbing ourselves? And can we engage in feeling alive instead? Being really honest and aware of ourselves. And for that, I would encourage a meditation practice because it is the opposite of numbing. And really 5 minutes a day, I'm a little bit of a meditation pusher, but 5 minutes a day can really change the functioning of a human brain and allow us to feel more connected rather than less in the need to numb. The fifth that he brought up was time. So the reaction that happens when we're in this disturbing state is we feel like there's no future, that nothing's going to change. It's always going to be like this. And the all or nothing thinking starts happening. So can we notice, and let's take a moment actually, if you're comfortable softening the gaze or closing the eyes. And a really good way to notice that things do constantly change. It's very intriguing because the human mind likes to play tricks on us, and sometimes it will say, oh, things change so much, I can't keep up. And in the next moment, it will say, nothing ever changes. So a good way to experiment with that is to go a little bit inward. And just begin to notice a sensation in your body, any sensation. See if you can find something. A painful situation may be difficult, but it is also very eye-opening. If you have pain in your body happening right now, if you focus on that, or again, any sensation. And see if you can focus your mind completely on that sensation. And then see if you can notice any shifts, any changes. Noticing that the mind itself may be telling you nothing's moving, but the body is actually sending you a very different message. And can you notice that? So this is a practice, as everything in life is. if it's hard to notice that right now, I would encourage you to play with that. Just taking a few moments, focusing on a sensation occurring in the body. And notice how it changes. The actual sensation starts shifting and changing, even if it is a sensation of pain. And so gently opening the eyes if they're closed and coming back. The final point that Bessel van der Kolk brought up was safety. And that makes a lot of sense. And so that is a great challenge right now. Safety is talked about and brought up a lot. So I would pose the question, what makes you feel safe? What makes you feel safe? A cozy blanket? That might help. Just playing with that idea of what makes you feel safe. And I would encourage two things there to play with. One, we don't often explore this area in our brain, but we are able to use imagination to find a place of safety or comfort or calm for ourselves. So can we, during this time of separation from each other, can we play with the idea of building a place in our minds where we feel calm and safe? And this idea was really foreign to me not that long ago. And over the past year, 6 months, I have been building a place in my brain, so I will be vulnerable and share this with you. I have an island with a horse who is black, with no saddle, beautiful water. And I realized that I plopped on this one part of the island. And so I started noticing that I still don't know what the whole island has to offer. It's really interesting how the brain works, so play with it. I haven't fully explored the island, which is wonderful because I have a lot to explore. I've stayed kind of on the west part of the island. And when I first started playing with it, I went swimming with my horse. And then all of a sudden my brain was like, oh my God, you can't do that, sharks. And then I was like, oh yeah, I'm totally in my imagination right now. No sharks. And so I swim with my horse. And then something else came up. I forget what it was, but I was like, oh yeah, none of that either. And then I created this beautiful crystal cave that we walk through with rainbows shining everywhere. I'm just giving you a little bit of, here, play with it. It does physical wonders for the body. Anything that happens here, this is where the nerves are. Anything that happens here affects this entire thing. Really important to remember. So if I'm creating a beautiful place up here, my whole body feels that, and something completely different happens. We can all find a safe place in our minds. All of us have the capabilities, even if we don't believe that we do. Play with that. Also, even if we are completely alone in our houses, we have ourselves. Touch is really important. So in the yoga practice that I did today, I did a tapping, Let your body know that you are here for it. Don't be afraid to give yourself touch and love. And also, if you're in a home with other people, allow yourself to be private, to take space, to communicate that you need that space, because it's all about the balance. So, to sum up, because I know we're probably over, mindfulness is being aware in the present moment, non-judgmentally. So I offer that. I hope that's helpful. Feel free to reach out with any questions.
Thank you so much, Jen. That was really beautiful. And I think just gaining the awareness of each of those things that can be happening makes us feel a little more normal for all the weird feelings that we're having. Because, you know, one thing that you said that I just want to bring a little attention to is my mindfulness practice. And, you know, all of us in the wellness world are flawed and human and imperfect. And we get freaked out and we have bad days, but we are determined to feel better. And so we practice. So I'm glad that you mentioned that you have to practice, and that, you know, someone in your profession has to deal with things that pop up that are unexpected in your day, and you have to reach a little bit to find a way to bring yourself back to how you wanted to feel when you're thrown off by these things. And you know, I think the theme of tonight was a breath of fresh air. We all did a little bit of breathing exercises, and they were all a bit different, and they were all really helpful, at least for me. I hope they were for everyone. But I do hope that these little summits give people a fresh perspective and some new ideas of things they can try. If the things they're doing now are not working, or if they just want to try more things. This gives people a lot of options, and also new ways of thinking to change their perspective on what's possible for their physical health and their mental health. So I really thank you for telling us your personal stories and how it affects you, and also for giving us those really wise words of wisdom. And I'm going to go ahead and just take everyone off of mute, and I'd love if you all unmute all. Here we go. Just give Jennifer a round of applause. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks again. You're welcome to put your contact information or anything you'd like right in the chat here. I know we did go a bit over time. And I just want to let you all know that Annie Catalano, who's in here tonight, and I are doing a class tomorrow that is going to be on Zoom. It's the Inspired Kitchen, and Annie's a professional organizer, and I'm a wellness educator and nutritionist. So we're going to be talking about ways to kind of get inspired, reset, refresh this kitchen and eating habits. So if you'd like to join us tomorrow night, that is going to be a $19 class on Zoom. You can send me an email, lauren@brightlywell.com, and we can get you signed up. But I just want to give you all credit for coming and doing this tonight, because taking the time to do this for yourself is part of what everyone was talking about, making a schedule, having some routine going, and having time to check in with yourself, see what you need. And if you don't know what you need, try new things. And this may be one of those for you. So I want to thank all the presenters, thank everyone for coming, and wish you all health and happiness and a really wonderful night. A great, fresh new start for a week tomorrow. So we'll keep this open for just a couple minutes if you guys have questions, but I want to thank you and have a great night.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Lauren.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jen. That was so reassuring.
Thank you.
You did it.